Yep.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ed.
And I'm Barb. And welcome to the ARTyRV channel. Tonight, we're going to be doing a Q&A and chatting about tips and tools and techniques in the stained glass industry. So we've got quite a few questions.
Yeah, we've been having a lot of questions during the week on our channel because not everybody makes it to the live stream, but we hope that you're here tonight because we are going to be answering a lot of your questions. And also, if you're here tonight and have any questions, just put them right there in the comment box and put a Q in front of it so that Barb knows that it's a question instead of just everybody saying hi and how you doing. Hope everybody's well tonight. Sorry.
Yeah, feel free to chat. Feel free to chat among yourselves. And so
welcome. We had a question earlier this week about what is the best glass cutter to use. So Barb, I only have two glass cutters that I use. One that I use basically 99% of the time, and that glass cutter is my pencil grip cutter, my pencil cutter. I use this cutter whether it's in the front or the back. And then I have in the stained glass studio, I have
can they see it?
A pistol grip cutter. Can you all see that? I think you probably can. I'll put it up against my shirt. There we go.
What they are.
Okay, so a pistol grip cutter.
Do you ever use that?
I do sometimes.
Oh, okay.
But also, they make a lot of different glass cutters. And the only thing I can say is for cutting glass is go to your stained glass supplier, and they're probably going to have a variety of cutters that you could actually try out because they make one that fits in just the palm of your hand like that. It's a palm cutter, and you just score like that. They make a glass cutter, Barb. Remember, looks like a sewing machine.
The Score One.
Awesome glass cutter, especially if you have lots of trouble putting pressure on your glass cutter because of your hands. You may have arthritis or something. So anyway, that's my tip for your stained glass. The best cutter is to go to your stained glass supplier and try it out and see if they have a couple different ones that you can try out.
The Score One looks like I'll put it on our website. I just realized they are still selling this little tool.
Oh, it's
looks
awesome.
like a little sewing machine. It has a Toyo head in it, I believe.
It does. It has a Toyo head.
And if you make lamps or a lot of tiny parts, it's perfect for that because, your hand gets wore out with all those tiny parts, and this just helps it along. But it's a fun little tool. You just score it and then use your...
it kind of... underneath is a little wheel with a rubber band on it, and your glass, and there's on the top you can dial in the pressure on your glass cutter.
Funny.
And you just stick the glass in there like you were feeding it into a sewing machine and turn the knob and turn the glass all at the same time, and you're cutting glass. It's really a neat little glass cutter if you have problems with arthritis in your hands, or like Barb said, you're doing lamps with just a lot of little intricate pieces. Awesome way to cut the glass.
But now they have those little saws. So.
Oh yeah, everybody, the what is it? A Taurus ring saw?
Yeah, okay. A lot of people are using those. Right, Jean said she just purchased the pencil style, and she learned on the pistol grip. Okay, well.
Okay.
You probably will eventually buy both. I mean, if you.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt to have both.
No, it doesn't hurt at all.
Just for, if you're cutting a lot of glass, changing it up a little bit. So, hand fatigue.
Yeah, because, with your pistol grip cutter, your center of gravity changes quite a bit.
Yeah.
When you're cutting the glass.
Well, since we're talking about cutting, the question was, there was a question, should I stand up or sit down when I'm cutting glass?
Should I go or should I stay now?
Which do you?
I prefer standing. Actually, right? Well, yeah, I think it's up to you really, but I prefer standing because you can't get over top of your work if you're sitting down. Now, and you can't
see where you're going.
Stretch out, and you really can't see where you're going. So I prefer to cut standing up And cutting larger glass, you can't cut it sitting down anyway. Patterns are even more difficult because if you're standing up, you can move your upper torso around with the rest of your body instead of just sitting there trying to go like this.
And keep even pressure.
You want to keep that even pressure. Otherwise, you'll be so frustrated, you'll have to go sit down and have a glass of Kool-Aid.
Right. What?
A glass of Kool-Aid.
Okay. Are you thirsty? Okay. Another cutting question. Should I push or pull the glass cutter?
Well, you know, that's a really good question because you should do both. When you're cutting straight lines or borders, anything straight line, you should be pulling, okay? Flat out, pull the glass cutter to you. When you're cutting patterns, you can't pull the glass cutter to you because this part of your hand hides everything. When you're cutting patterns, you push the glass cutter and drive it around your pattern with consistent pressure, never letting up, so that you have, see, now you can cut both ways. You can cut strips, borders, and your patterns are push. So it's kind of a push me, pull you kind of thing, but depending on what you're doing, you have to adjust your cutting pattern to cut the glass that you're working on at that period.
So, like driving a car when you're pushing it.
Yeah. And I, believe it or not, I use a pistol. I'm not a pistol. I use a pencil grip cutter, and my index finger, I hold it like I do a pen.
That's true, Linda. Not like a race car.
No, that's right. Or a paintbrush. So, but my index finger goes on the side of the cutter head, and I'm not sure if you can see this, but this is how. I'm sorry, it's my middle finger. This is how I hold my glass cutter.
I think they can see.
My middle finger goes on the cutter head. And this way I can drive along the glass, keeping my nice even pressure and being able to work on it and doing exactly what it needs to be done to it. That's a good question though.
Yeah, that was.
But you should do both, okay?
I can't remember who asked that. Okay, so let me see if I have any more cutter questions. Any more cutting questions out there? Oh, here's one. Well, no, that's not really a cutting.
Here's a cutting question.
What?
Says our viewer says, I can't cut very good. Is it okay to grind away the glass to fit the pattern? Only if you have unlimited grinder heads. So this is, and everybody out there that is a subscriber to our channel, y'all know how I feel about cutting glass. Teach yourself to cut the glass correctly. So because the grinder, y'all, some of you know it, some of you don't. But the grinder, y'all, should be used to rough up the surface and square up the edge of the glass after it's cut, not to grind it so that it fits. Because I'm going to tell you what, the grinder does a lot of good things, but I will tell you this, the grinder will not grind a straight line and keep it straight. It will not do it, period. The other thing that it won't do is make your glass fit. Cutting the glass makes your glass fit. Grinding the glass makes the copper foil tape stick to it. Take your time. Teach yourself how to cut the glass. Check out our videos on glass cutting, and maybe they'll help you. And join the crowd, and let's have some more questions like that. Because
yeah, that's a good question, because a lot of people think they can grind it to fit.
I don't recommend it. You can you can sit there and grind that piece of glass to fit, but why? You have a perfectly good glass cutter in your hand, and you probably have the knowledge to cut the glass. You're just not applying yourself
Practice.
and practicing. Practice on clear window glass until you get it. Then when you get it, switch over to art glass. But it sounds to me, there's two things wrong. Either you got the wrong glass cutter, or you don't hear the pressure that you're putting on, and it needs to be the same start to finish. And there is no other way to cut glass.
So when you're grinding the glass, you should just be grinding off, you know, how if you cut it a little bit wrong and it kind of, you know,
well, it breaks on
shard,
an angle.
like a little angle or
Right.
something, you know, quickly grind that off. You should just be going zzz, zzz,
Because what the grinder, what the grinder does is it takes the shine of the glass off and brings the sand to the surface. Then when you clean it, then the copper foil sticks to it like nobody's business. Please take the time to teach yourself how to cut the glass, or check with someone, or like I said, check out our video on cutting glass. That's the glass video 101, isn't it, Barb?
I think we have 2 or 3 glass cutting videos under the stained glass.
Under the stained glass. Just check it out.
But
if you have any more questions, you know, we'll be happy to help. And but the main thing is practice. And if it's a dilemma with arthritis or something, check out some of those glass cutters that we've mentioned here. Check out the Score 1 glass cutter, because the only pressure you put on that is the pressure you put on by the little knob at the top that's spring loaded on your glass cutter. And that may help you cut glass better than anything, my friend, because it may be just something in your hand that's not working right.
Yeah.
And I don't know. So.
Yeah. And if you're cutting a border and you just can't, you don't have enough glass to finish the border and your piece is all like not cut right, just change up the border. Don't put a piece of crappy glass in there.
No,
think you're going to get it.
Yeah, don't just say
because you won't be able to hide it.
Right.
You won't be able to hide it.
Right.
Just change the border color a little bit.
Right. So we had a soldering question.
Oh, okay.
And that soldering question was a person who has just recently started in the stained glass industry as a hobby, I'm guessing, wanted to know if it was okay to use rosin core solder. Rosin core solder, well, the first answer is no. Rosin core solder is designed that way to specifically put flux in an area on a transistor or in a radio. Rosin core flux or solder with flux inside the center of it should not be used on stained glass. It is designed for electronics. You either find a 50-50 solder or a 60-40 that you can use to create your projects, and things will be much better for you. Because if you've tried that rosin core, I'm sure it's spitting all over the place. And it probably looks terrible.
It will never look good.
Way too much carbon burning off inside there, young lady.
You can try, but this is let's get the cutting. Can we get the cutting questions?
Let's go.
Or we just want to mix it up?
Mix it up.
Okay, let's mix it up. Which is better, lead or copper foil? That was we get that.
We get that question a lot, but you know what?
Depends.
Yeah, I mix it. I don't specifically like to do one or the other. Some projects require copper foil. Other projects require lead. And some projects require both copper foil and lead to allow you to create, what would you say, Barb? To allow you to create depth in your window. And by adding overlays, you can't lead an overlay, but you can copper foil an overlay and put it on, attach it to the piece of glass on the outside, and it'll look like nobody's business. So the answer to that question from Ed is use both, change your work, and make it look like your work rather than someone else's.
Yeah, because a lot of times copper foil is the best product and best solution for your, what you're working on. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to look at it at what?
Yeah. Well, you just have to look at it like
what you pointing at?
What you want, I don't know.
So we got to on that side.
So we got to come. Hey, you get on your side of that microphone right there, young man.
Should you clean your glass before you cut it?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
That was easy.
Well, if you're cutting glass and you've got dust on it, dirt on it, if you have a label on it or something, sure, go ahead and clean the glass. And at least it's not the glass's fault if it doesn't break correctly because it's clean.
Any good tips for photographing finished work?
I'm going to let Barbara answer that because she photographs our work. So you're on, Barb.
Yeah, I photograph our work most of the time with my iPhone or with my Canon M50. But I'll tell you, the iPhone 11 is great.
That's what you have, right? The 11? Okay.
If you've got an iPhone, you can take a photograph, focus it, of course, get the light behind it on the stained glass, and no reflection into it. You just want the light behind it. And that's the best way. Small pieces, same way. You want the light behind it and not reflecting off of it. And you want a nice, clear background, nice non-busy background.
Because your home studio tent helps you a lot too, doesn't it?
For
small things, yeah.
For big things, in the window and light behind it. Right. But for small things, you're going to need maybe a tent, some kind of tent thing.
A nice white sheet, maybe a piece of canvas, white canvas.
Yeah, if you're photographing for shows, you want something definitely with a nice plain background.
Gray or white, right?
Yeah, you can experiment. But yeah, it's not easy doing photography for glass. And glass, because it's so reflective.
Glass is the most difficult thing to photograph.
photograph.
And you can ask really any photographer that because they'll tell you.
That has ever tried to photograph glass, it's the most difficult. They don't realize how hard it is until they go to photograph.
Right.
Yeah, most of them learn in school.
Yeah.
But you can see like these pieces behind us. See how much reflection they have. The light in here is totally wrong for this. And that should be backlit. Because it doesn't show up that great.
No.
Go turn those lights on, mister.
Well, it's so bright back there now because the sun's setting over here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So the sun's setting. So, okay.
Okay.
So
this is a definite.
This is a good question here. Our viewer wants to know, since I have to cut my textured glass on the smooth side, how do I get my texture up? Well, it's pretty simple. If you're working on the light box, flip your pattern over. If you're have cut a pattern out using our double razor blade trick, lay your pattern on the glass, but turn your pattern upside down so that you still cut on the smooth side, so that when you put it in your window, boom. You probably can't see that because of the light, but this is a clear texture. So, but what you want to do is you don't flip the glass, you flip your pattern. Okay. Very simple. And
you flip it and then trace it, flip the pattern and trace it.
Flip the pattern and cut it. Yeah. Trace it onto your glass and then cut it. And it won't fit back in the window where it goes but one way, and that's with the texture
that's
up.
True. So don't worry.
You don't worry. What you need to do is turn your pattern over. That's all.
Yeah. Okay, that was a good question. And I think we talked about that once before.
I think we did too. It's possible. Well, you know what, though? We have people starting to do stained glass and learning this wonderful process every day.
Yep.
Every day.
Everybody's starting to pop in.
Yeah. Hey, Karen. Good to see you tonight.
Linda, Amber.
Hi, everybody.
Everybody's here. Everybody's getting here.
So we got some pretty good questions that came in earlier this week, and they're probably, well, I hope that they're
Jean's here.
helping
Jean
you
Burton's
guys.
here. Mhm.
Oh, hey, how's it going, Jean? Good to see you.
She was the one that had purchased the the pencil cutter.
Pencil cutter.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Did I interrupt you? Again?
No, I was looking at this question here, and I wanted to kind of get in my head that I needed to answer it. This question, and I think we've gone over this before. Most of you probably understand why it happens. Why does my solder pop and boil? Well, it shouldn't. And the main reason that it's doing it, popping and boiling, you can't boil solder, y'all. Well, you can because you're iron. You're putting too much flux on the solder joint itself. So if you're doing copper foil and if you think you're not putting a whole lot of flux on the first side, when you flip that copper foil panel over and flux it again, now you just doubled up on it. Your second side is probably where you're getting all your popping and spitting and boiling. But please, if it's like that, clean it off because flux is inexpensive compared to frustration. Wipe it off, start again. Barbara hates when I do this, but I shake my brush off my flux and so that it's just the right amount. And I don't use a bushy flux brush. I cut it off so that it's only about 1/4 of an inch long, so it's real stiff.
Yeah.
If you use a bushy flux brush, it's just going to you might as well just pour your flux on the window.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Don't do that, please.
Okay. Patsy wants to know, when you make something, should you always have the texture showing towards you?
Not necessarily. Texture refracts light. Light is usually behind it. So a lot of times if you put something in a kitchen cabinet, you want to make sure the texture is facing in because the kitchen gets greasy in the air and everything. And if you get the texture dirty, your customer has a hard time cleaning it out. But textures you can do it either way. Again, that's a personal preference thing. What do you like? And and
the application.
Yeah. And what do you see that piece of textured glass looking like? What do you, when you look at what you've just built, what do you want to see? Do you want to see the texture or do you want to know that the texture is behind it? Because it's going to give you a different look for sure.
Yeah. Right? I would put it on a light box and look at it.
Yeah.
And look at the application. Is there a lot of light that's going to refract off of the front panel? If it is, then you might want to turn it around. I don't know. Or maybe it's better that way. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I would just experiment.
And again, it's personal preference or the way the artist wants it to look. If the wind is fixed, it's not going to be spinning.
It's a hard question.
Yeah. Because if the wind is not spinning or whatever, so that the texture comes in and out, in and out, in and out, you're the artist. So you plan it to be the way that you want. But if you think about it, most textured glasses that are iridized, the iridescent is on the smooth side. And that's the side you want to see. So it's kind of isn't it? It's kind of like a catch-22.
Yeah, that's a beautiful glass to work with, the iridized and the textured.
Yeah.
Karen got to grind on Saturday and she's real excited.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And Leah is from
Springfield,
Missouri. Great. Hey, welcome to the channel.
Yeah. And she wants to know, how do you fix your copper foil when it pulls off of your project after you've soldered it? How do you fix it?
Start over.
Yep.
Well, I mean, that's such a short answer though. Leah, it's a short answer.
Section.
Yeah, that section. There's two reasons that it's popping off though. Is it popping off? If it's popping off the edge while you're soldering it, then what's happening is your glass isn't clean enough and you're not burnishing it correctly in order to make the glue heat up and stick to the glass. The other reason that it's popping up on the edges is your soldering iron is too hot. If you don't have a rheostat, get one, and that will change.
Okay.
Oh,
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm passionate about what I do.
Joey's here.
Hey, Joey, I hope you're doing well, my friend.
And Renee is here. Hello, Renee. Joey wants to know, do you prefer a zinc border or an H lead border around your panels?
I put lead around everything because I either frame it or it goes into a existing opening that has stops and molding on both sides. So I use lead on everything.
We don't frame our panels in zinc. We frame them to, be finished. That's not a finished product to us in our
in the way that we sell our work and install it in people's homes and stuff. The zinc around the outside edge isn't a finished product to us. So we use lead. We buy a very expensive oak molding to frame our work, but we also install it into openings that are not quite, that opening we might be installing might be 200 years old. And if you've got zinc on there and that opening's out a little bit, you can't do a thing about it. If you got lead on it, I have a wood plane. It's called a mini plane. It's about 2 inches, about 3 inches long. And I can just take and go whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. That sounds pretty good, doesn't it? If I go whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.
It's that easy, huh?
Just shave that edge of that lead right off, and I can go right into that door frame if I need to. So I prefer to use the lead and rather than the zinc. Yeah,
it's more forgiving if the wood is out of square.
Well, and the other thing that I found over the years, who asked that question, Joey?
No. Was it? Yes, Joey asked it. Yes.
What I found over the years is like if you put a lead window and a zinc frame into a door, after a very short period of time, not a long period, but a short period of time, the zinc being rigid and the lead being pliable, every joint around that zinc board, that zinc frame is going to crack on you, especially if the lead is inside the door side of the molding rather than behind the molding with the zinc, because it does this. And that zinc is rigid and the lead moves and it just goes pop, pops right. The solder joints will crack in no time.
Yeah, it was Joey. Yeah. That's a good question, Joey. Patsy asked, when you use handy hangers, I'm not sure what they are.
I'm not sure either.
For your windows, what pound window is too large? I guess the handy hanger would tell you on the package. We don't use handy hangers. I don't know what they are. Maybe we use them and we don't know what they are, but
well, we use chain and S hooks and I hooks, basically.
S hooks, I hooks in wood.
And everything that we use is metal. There's no plastic, no nothing.
In the solid wood or the beam, it's, so.
Yeah. So if we're going to hang a window, if we were going to hang a window in this opening, this opening above us, first thing we do is get the hammer drill out and drill a hole into the brick. Put an anchor in it. Then we would install an I hook into the brick through the plastic anchor, attach an S hook, attach some chain, attach another S hook to an I hook that's attached to the frame, and hang the frame in the window. And
the frame would be made of wood.
Yeah, and the frame would be made of wood. You can't one of the greatest things we have here on earth is gravity. But if you're not careful, you can't hang windows from zinc and you can't hang windows from lead. You can hang small sun catchers that weigh less than 2 pounds on wire, but they have to be reinforced, and that wire needs to go down inside of a solder joint in that particular sun catcher so that it's pulling on the whole sun catcher, not just right on the edge of the copper foil tape.
Now, we did have a viewer that had a zinc, had a stained glass window,
Yep.
and she took it to the shop and they put a zinc frame around it. Did a great job, but they drilled holes.
They drilled 2 holes in her round zinc frame that she probably paid a lot of money for, and then they stuck the chain that you would attach.
I
fan.
It was round.
I mean, it was round,
Oh, okay.
but they drilled 2 holes in it,
Okay.
and then they stuck a link from a lamp chain through each one of those loops, and then I guess they expected her to hang it from that point. And even after a while, that zinc, because of gravity, will tear. Open a piece of zinc up, open a piece of used zinc up, grab it by the U and do this.
Yeah,
and look at it.
But you said it was okay.
Yeah, no, it would be
okay,
but
it could be done
differently.
It
could be done. It could be done a lot. It was okay. It's okay to do it. Eventually, that as long as like if that window were out and where it's going to be windy and moving back and forth, I think this particular window was going to hang inside. It's a logo piece.
But can I give a suggestion? If you need to do a circle logo and you're doing it for a client, buy your frame first.
Yep.
Buy your frame is the hardest part to find. You can build your window any size. You can't find a frame any size. So find your frame first, get it in your shop, and then build your
upscale supplier, your upscale supplier, Delphi, is going to have your round frames, and they're not cheap. A 24-inch round frame is going to cost you $250.
Then you just resell that to your customer and let your customer understand that it's going to cost them more if they want that round frame. That's just customary in the market, in the stained glass market. Also, you can make it rectangle and put the circle and put a circle in the middle.
Save your customers some money.
It gives you the same visual look, but you don't have that aggravation of trying to find a circle frame, which can really lead to
if you walk into
great heartache.
If you walk into a church, we found over the years that
it's so hard.
Church windows, they all want an arched top, but they don't have the money to put the arched frame in there. And let me tell you, it's expensive. So we designed the windows for that church with an arch in it, and then we designed the corners really nice. But when you sit down in the church, in the pew, and that window beside you that used to be a rectangle, it still is, but it has an arch to it now, it feels taller. So I call it optical confusion. It's just optical confusion, but it works.
Okay, I'm taking these questions.
And Ed Hoy's too, right, Barb?
For
a more upscale supplier that's going to have your framing material. Yeah. Don't worry about, you have to price all these items, and then you let your customer know how much it's going to cost.
We didn't answer Patsy's question because we don't know what handy hangers are, but Patsy, let us know what they are, and we'll be happy to try to answer. Magali is here.
Hey.
And Joey has one more question. I'm getting to everyone, but how do you attach your chain to the panels? Do you solder together the ends or just use pliers to twist and close instead?
Yeah.
Yes, Joey. Renee has solder that has gotten dull and corroded looking. Is this still usable?
Sure. It's oxidized. Just unroll about 2 feet of it and take you a piece of steel wool and clean it and then roll it back up and use it.
Yeah. Underneath of it will probably be fine.
It's a little rule of thumb, everybody. If you're not going to use your stuff for a while, put it in a Ziploc baggie with a little bit of rice. That'll keep all the humidity off of it and keep everything from oxidizing. Same way with your copper foil. Keep it in its package in a baggie.
Yep.
That stuff's expensive, and y'all know it.
The Ziplocs are a great.
Yeah, Ziplocs are cheap, man.
Yeah. Karen wants to know: is there a formula for temperature of the iron on the solder wire or is that listed on the spool? She's just learning and she doesn't know if she has a certain temperature she's supposed to be at.
If you're using, Karen, if you're using a wattage controller, I usually run my soldering iron for lead. I do a test first, but I run my soldering iron on about a 7 or 70% of the dial that's on my wattage controller. But I'm not exactly sure of the temperature, but I believe 50/50 melts at 418 degrees and 60/40 melts at 435 degrees. But lead melts at 416 degrees, something like that. So you just do a test, Karen. You want to be able to touch your soldering iron to your solder from underneath, and it just go. You don't want it. You want it to go 1001, 1002 melt. That's the temperature. But then I want you to, once you do that, it's going to start to cool off as you solder. So then you just turn it up just a tiny bit, and it should start flowing. But if you're using 60/40, you may have to just turn it up just a little bit hotter. That's all. 60/40, I don't use 60/40 solder on lead because the two temperatures are way too close together for my liking, and I would just as soon not melt the lead.
Patsy wants to know, do you need to always stretch your lead before you use it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because what you're doing is eventually your lead, again, it goes back to that gravity thing. Doesn't matter where you put it in your window around the outside edge. Eventually, what it's going to do is it's going to stretch. If you haven't stretched it, we usually stretch our lead about 4 to 5 inches. And you can take a piece of lead and stick it between two fingers like this. Okay. A 6-foot piece of lead, hold your fingers 4 foot apart, and it'll fold down over your fingers if you do that before you stretch it. Stretch it and do the same thing, and it'll stay right there. Because what you're doing is you're activating the molecules, you're setting everything where it needs to be, and you're moving that lead to its breaking point, so it's not going to go any further. And it requires you to do that. To make it strong. To make it strong.
So that's what you're doing.
Another one of those structural things.
Yeah, you're making it stronger. Making it strong until it just...
Yeah, well, and if you're using, I know if you're not using a lead stretcher, it is kind of scary. If you're using a lead vise and a pair of pliers, you're right, it's kind of scary. Don't try to go 5 inches on that. Just do 2.5 or 3.
Yeah, be careful.
Because otherwise you find yourself picking yourself up off the floor, and that, my friend, is not happy.
Someone had asked a question about when they're grinding and they're fitting their pieces back on their pattern. What's the best way to protect their pattern?
Over copper foil work?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, when I teach classes, I give my students a piece of 1/8 inch clear plexiglass to put over top of their pattern. That's one way. The other way is, and you should do this all the time, and really you should do it before you even cut it out with your pattern shears or with the razor trick. Yeah. Is clear contact paper, both sides.
Yeah, Magali uses contact
paper. Oh my gosh, Magali, I'll have an answer for your moss tomorrow.
Your answer. Oh, I thought you had.
No, I got the part number. And we're going to talk about that here shortly, so don't go away. We're going to talk about part numbers in just a minute.
He found it finally tonight. He's looking for a color.
Yeah, so we're looking for a part number. And so I guess, did we get that question answered, Warren?
I don't know what.
Patsy, did we answer that for you?
What one was it?
Do we have to always stretch the lead? Yeah.
Yes. Was that the last question?
I believe it was.
Okay, well then.
All right.
The other question was, do you need a color
sample kit?
Do you really need to buy a color sample kit?
I don't know that you really need one, but your stained glass supplier would appreciate it if you had one.
And so would your customers.
And so would your customers. So I'm
You
going
give them
to,
more choices.
I'm just going to move this a little bit forward. And this is my Wismac or Wismock. Some people say it Mock. I say it Mac. They are from Hayden City, West Virginia, y'all. And this is just a partial kit. And this kit was purchased in 1986. Okay.
Then we have stacks in other places.
And we have stacks in other places.
In the studio.
So, but what I wanted to show you, for instance, is this. The Paul Wismac Corporation, okay, they make 15 different textures. And they make all of those textures in clear. Okay. They have hundreds of colors and color combinations that are applied to these 15 textures. So, and Magali, yeah, you were right on your texture, because yes, it's a ripple. Okay. And there's a lot of different, I don't know if you can see that texture or not. I'm not sure.
Think you can.
This is called a stream. It looks like water running sideways. I don't know if you can see it.
Further.
But Magali, your part number is a 318. And that is your
I thought that was
moss. Hang on, I just had it right here.
I just saw it.
Or did I move it so I didn't lose it?
I just saw it. You just passed it.
Yeah. I just passed it.
Didn't you?
Anyway, your part number is a 318. So
it is a 318, I promise.
Yeah, but what this is what I'm saying to everybody out there. If you call your stained glass supplier and you say, do you happen to have, and this is a real popular glass, okay? This is a wispy pattern, but it's a Wismac WO, which Wismac O opalescent 441. Okay, so that tells me that opalescent glass has pink, blue, amber, and white in it. Okay, but that tells your supplier exactly what you're looking for, instead of you saying to them, gee, you know what? I'd like a piece of glass. It looks kind of like a coral, but it's like a pinky color and it's got a little bit of white in it. Well, that's what it is. But if you had this part number, you could say, hey, John, you got a 13L for me up there?
And then you could say, do you have it
And do
in
you
a
have it in
ripple?
And do you have it in a ripple, or do you have it in a double roll? Do you have it in a streaky? These are things that are available to you and will help you.
So if you have
immensely.
the clear, oh, and it's great when you're going to a church.
Right.
And you've got to match that old glass. You
Right.
have this company.
This company and Kokomo Glass and Kokomo Opalescent Glass in Kokomo, Indiana. These two companies have been in business in the States for over 100 years. And you know what? They still make a lot of the glass that you're going to run into in churches if you're doing repair work. So these are your go-to guys, but your go-to guy is going to be your supplier that keeps this glass. So they have a whole line of, they have an entire line of iridescent glasses. They have an entire line of textured glasses. And something Barbara and I saw about 5 or 6 months ago was this. Wismac makes a glass called Figure C. And you know, I've never seen a red Figure C. And we went into a church to do some repairs. And the whole top of each one of those windows was full of red Figure C. And I've never seen it. But you know what? They make it. They make it. And they make it for everybody. It is at your fingertips. So Magali, your part number is a 318 on the moss color.
How much do you need, Magali? How much glass do you need?
And I'm going to see if they have us a ripple.
And Eddie may be able to order it for you.
Yeah, maybe I'll just have it drop shipped to you.
Brenda said she's curious. Are our viewers new and learning happy artists, or are they commissioned stained glass artists? She was thinking maybe a sample kit was not needed for the first two. Okay. Yeah, probably. But, you know, it's not something I would spend my money on if I was just dabbling.
I couldn't
because
even.
It is expensive.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you how much.
Yeah. So
Okay.
if you're serious, you definitely need it.
Yeah.
So if you're,
Crystals.
and if you really want to learn the glass,
Yeah, if you
it
want to.
helps. But
This helps because a lot of times.
Thank you, Brandon.
A lot of times you can call me and we can discuss a color, and I can, if it's a color that we use a lot of, that's a frequently bought color, I know the part number, and then you can look it up. A lot of times too, you can look online at these samples. It's not quite the same, but it's pretty close. Kokomo's got a really good website. And so does Wismac. I mean, they show you their colors.
I mean, what they show you is generally what you get.
And they're not going to show you everything because even the sample box doesn't have everything. It says so inside the box. If you need more samples of different colors, please contact us or your supplier. So there you have it.
Spectrum used to update the kit every year with new samples.
They just send them right out. Spectrum, any new glass, when Spectrum, which is now Oceanside, but when Spectrum was doing it, they would send you out, it might be 10 or 12 new samples every year of their new glasses. So it was really nice. You had your samples the same time your supplier got the sheets of glass in, and it was awesome.
Magali wants you to contact her about the cost on that.
I would before I do anything.
He'll do that. He's going to get some glass in, or he can have it drop shipped.
Not drop kicked, drop shipped.
Yeah, we hope.
Yeah,
right?
Fraggle.
Okay.
So anyway, the kit is, and again, I couldn't even tell you how much the kits are anymore.
I don't know.
But I would imagine that was probably $100 35 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, it took us a while to accumulate all the kits. So
But we had a Spectrum we used to have a Spectrum sample kit, but they're Oceanside now, so we don't need that. But we do have a Kokomo sample kit. We have the Wismac sample kit.
we had an Armstrong,
We had an Armstrong, but
Yucca-Gamey.
we also have now in our
Do we still have a Yucca-Gamey?
No.
No.
We have the GNA sample kit.
Oh, the GNA sample.
The GNA samples, all the mouth blown antique glasses in all the colors. We have the sample set. Now that's an expensive sample set.
Did we pay for that, or was that given to us?
That was given to us.
Given to us by the salesman.
Yeah.
It was a gift.
I think he was
So
leaving.
nice. Yeah, it was so nice. What a surprise.
Yeah, what a surprise.
I got a question. What can I put on the outside edge of my copper foil to make it look finished, besides just soldering the outside edge? What else can you use?
Well, depending on the size of the window, you can put a zinc border around, a zinc outside frame, but you can't hang it from it, or you shouldn't hang it from it. I'm not going to say you can't, you should. And then you also can use U-shaped hobby lead, and you just solder that U-shaped lead, and they make a flat U and a round U. A lot of times the round U looks really good. The other thing you can do is take a piece of lead in a vise and a drill and spin the lead up into a rope and then attach it around your copper foil.
But you still need to put wire into your piece
To
for
hang
the
it.
hooks.
Yeah. Yeah, you
You
can't
just hook it to your
Yeah, please don't hang it Willie
outside.
McNilly, because you
Yeah.
can't do it.
structurally fix your hooks in there first. Okay.
Yeah, so okay, Magali said hobby cane. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so if you do the hobby cane, I think that the one thing that you want to do is to, when you're working with cane, you want to keep your hands clean. You don't want to smoke or eat while you're working. Well, those are two things you don't want to do even when you're not working, probably.
You have to eat.
Well, yeah, you got to eat. That's right. Okay, so don't smoke though while you're working with the lead. Make sure you wash your hands. It takes an awful lot of lead for you to get the lead poisoning, but if you're going to ingest it, it doesn't take quite as much. So try not to eat it.
You don't want something in your drink open or anything.
No,
like that,
you don't want it. It's really,
yeah.
You really shouldn't do that.
Did you tell everyone when our next live stream is?
I did not, but I think it's next Monday night at 7:00. Everybody,
it is
Monday night, every Monday night at 7:00.
It is,
and we kind of hit a milestone last week. We thought we were really excited. We had 70 viewers at on the live stream last week, and that was awesome. Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah. So and we did get some subscribers out of that, and that is really good. We appreciate that very much. What we really appreciate is hopefully helping you enjoy this hobby / business that we're all in. And the glass industry is just a great place to be right now, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
Except unless you're doing shower doors because you can't get hardware. But.
I know. But being able to work in your studio.
Being able to work indoors, yes.
Wonderful thing.
It is. It's a wonderful thing. We thoroughly enjoy being able to. We're working on our projects. Everything seems to be moving. We'll be working, putting the coils and the thermal couple and everything in the glass furnace next week. And we'll be getting ready to turn that on.
Still working on the oak tree.
Still working on the oak tree. We're on panel number 8 and 9.
Still painting.
Or 9 and 10. I'm sorry, 9 and 10.
And we'll have another video of that.
And Barb's going to finish the paintings on the birds this week.
And I'm still working on the video, so sorry,
That's okay.
I've got so much
you can't
going
rush
on right
that.
now.
You really can't rush that, Barb.
I do a lot of other
and
things.
It's okay. It's okay.
I do a lot of other things behind the scenes that no one sees.
No one sees a lot of things.
No one appreciates it either.
Except me.
Except this guy. He knows what I do.
This guy knows what she does. So
I had someone ask how they can support us. And
well, you can send us a check. Make it in care of Ed and Barb.
You can.
I'm just kidding.
There should be super chats there. You can do that. But you can go to our website. If you go to our website, it really helps us because it builds our views and visitors. And if you buy something from Amazon, that helps us. And we got the hats on there now.
Yeah, we got our new hats, our ARTyRV hats. So we have green and pink. Yeah, or not pink. It's not really pink. It's coral. It's coral.
It's coral.
Yeah, that's right. It's a 13L.
Yeah, 13L.
It's a 13L. That's a good question. We may have a test on that.
And so that's all I'm going to say about that. And give us a thumbs up and subscribe.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not talk about that anymore.
Well, we're not here to ask y'all for money, and we appreciate everything that you do, and I hope that you enjoy what we do in helping you. So, but when you do go to our website, you can go to the shopping page. We once our inventory is back up and running on our Christmas ornaments, that's how you can help support us, is purchasing our Christmas ornaments during the holidays.
Yeah. That's our strongest
item.
And people love them, and we love making them. So we're looking forward to the Christmas season.
Yeah. And we, well, I can't say that because we haven't got our red yet. Normally we have a really beautiful red, but we hadn't got it yet. So we're waiting to see.
Okay, I had another question. How do you keep the solder from dripping or rolling off the sun catcher while soldering?
Turn your iron down a little bit. If it's dripping or running off, apparently you're working on the edge. Your iron should be cooler when you're working around the edge. The other thing is you want to keep where you're working perfectly level. You can't tilt it this way and hope to get it done this way. Keep your soldering piece that you're soldering perfectly level. And I do, believe it or not, I actually wear a thin leather glove on my hand when I'm soldering because it's inevitable. You can see I get solder dripped on me all the time. But just do that. And the other thing is if you've got solder dripping through to the other side, that was my chair. My chair is like a saddle.
There was a duck under there or something.
What? A what? But you can use, take a paper towel and wet it, wring it out, open it up, and set your sun catcher on top of that so that as you're soldering, any that goes through won't go through and spread out. It'll just stop right there. But most of the time, if your solder is running or dripping, your soldering iron is too hot. And I can't stress enough to get a wattage controller to control your soldering iron, and life will be so much easier. You can't solder wide open all the time.
That's kind of this next question was, why does the solder fall through the cracks to the other side? And we kind of have a solution for that.
Sure, cut your glass better. No, just kidding. That is one of the solutions is cut your glass better.
Yeah, it won't be falling through the cracks.
Take your time and cut your glass better.
But another thing you can do when you're soldering is that wet paper towel.
That works. Yeah.
To keep your project cold. We're talking sun catchers.
Yeah, we're talking sun catcher or lamp panels.
Lamp panels.
Flat panel lamp, because
especially when you really got a lot of soldering.
Yeah.
On a lamp panel.
On a lamp panel. Just put that wet paper towel underneath of it. Damp, not wet. Not wet. Yeah, not wet. Don't electrocute yourself. But just a damp paper towel, and you will be just really happy when you flip it over.
It keeps the glass cool, especially if you're building a panel that has a lot of soldering and a lot of pieces. You can overheat your glass, and it keeps it from falling through.
Well, and it does keep the glass cooled down because, if you're soldering a whole lot of joints on a little panel, that stuff's going to get hot. Your soldering iron's 435 degrees. Come on. So the damp paper towel does a couple things. Stops your solder from sticking to your table. The other thing it does is it keeps your glass cool on the other side. So it's good.
Yeah.
It works like a dream. Try it.
Yeah. So everybody's good. Everyone's good. Thank you guys for coming out tonight and seeing us. Or
I'll take a check too. Yeah.
Can you still use a thermostat if your iron comes with a temperature gauge like the Hakko? No.
No, I would not. The temperature gauge is in your iron. Don't double it up because you're going to mess with the amount of current that's flowing to the head, to the tip.
The only thing that we don't like about the temperature gauge on the iron is that the iron is heavier. That's the drawback.
Yeah, and I haven't seen that Hakko.
But I don't know how heavy it is. I mean, they may have improved them. So that's the only drawback. But let us know if you like that. Have you used a lot of it? Have you used it, or is it? Yeah, you like that iron?
That's good.
That's great.
Well, a lot of people just don't don't use a wattage controller because they don't learn about it when they take the class, because in class, that's another $35.
Thank you, ma'am.
And so, a lot of people.
It's light. She says it's light. Magali said that iron is light.
Okay.
So that's great.
I may have to check one of those out.
We
just
might
see
check
what
it out.
check it out. Call my supplier, see if they got one they need to send me.
Yeah. We haven't been buying a lot of, we stay with the tools
that we've been
that
using
last forever. But new tools are fun.
Oh yeah, new tools are fun, and they do come out with different things, and there's a lot of different tools out there.
Does anyone have any questions? Any more questions? We went through a lot of questions.
Went through 18 questions tonight. More than that.
About 25 questions.
Okay. Well, I stopped writing down at 18. So.
Well, yeah, I know. That's how many that came through on my email and my website and the website and YouTube this week. So that's, lotto numbers.
Yeah. That's funny. You should say that, Magali. Last time we were in
What
Florida.
were the numbers you were just writing? Weren't you writing some numbers
No.
down? Oh, okay. Sorry.
No, the last time Barbara and I were in Florida, the lady over in Tampa won that $500 million or
From the
whatever it was.
Winn-Dixie?
Yeah, from the Winn-Dixie. I think we were in the
We went
Keys
in the
that weekend.
Winn-Dixie on the way to the Keys.
On the way to the
But we
Keys.
didn't win.
But we
Marble.
did. That wasn't the right Winn-Dixie. She went in the one in Tampa and
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
she knocked it down. $500 million. Good for her.
Are you guys working on projects? Everything's going good?
Hopefully you got some new projects coming up. You can, send us pictures of your projects.
Yes, Amber. Getting close. They predict we'll have by the first week in September, or no, the end of August is one of the
One of our goals that
one of the goals they have us on is 2,000 subscribers by the end of August.
Yeah, because we hit 1,900 on the 19th. Now, is that crazy or what? 1,900 subscribers on the 19th of August. And that's really nice.
What paint styles and colors would you suggest for starting out? I saw some kits at Schilling's, but not sure which one to get. I think they have the kit with the beginner kit with the brushes and the tracing.
Yeah, it's I believe it's $145. It's well worth the money.
I would get that one first.
And start out that one. That one only has one of the silver stains in it. They have a whole silver stain kit, and still until you get familiar with using the silver stains, just get the one, which is the amber that comes in the kit.
Keep you busy for a long time.
Keep you busy for a long time.
It's great. You'll get hooked on that.
Yeah.
And then you'll get your brush. Doesn't it come with the basic brushes?
Comes with basic
Then you
brushes.
get your tracing black and your
matte black
and your matte and your shadows
and your bisque brown.
Bisque brown.
Yeah.
I think you get one or two browns.
Yeah, and then you get
great.
I want to say it's like 8 colors. It's a total of 16 bottles for the $145, I think, and including your gum Arabic. Comes with your brushes and everything. It's really a nice little kit. What is it? The stippling brushes. 13 stippling brushes for $13.
Was that from Schilling?
They have it
everywhere.
Too. It's everywhere. Yeah, it's everywhere.
Brushes
it's everywhere.
are cheaper now. They used to be more expensive when we used to.
Well, the Badger hair brush isn't cheap.
We didn't. Oh, okay. Don't I have a Badger hairbrush is that for my kiln wash?
That's one. Yeah, one.
I'll clean it and we can use it for painting? No.
Not for, because you use a Badger hairbrush for matting.
Okay. Magali has some questions. I was grinding about 10 pieces on my grinder and putting them on the side of my grinder. When I was done and I was washing, noticed all 10 pieces were scratched from the shards coming off of the grinder. Was it antique glass that you were using? A soft glass will do that. Glass shards will scratch it. What?
But Magali, when you're
there.
grinding the glass and you take one off and you set the other one on top of it, you just scratched it because the grinder throws glass grit right on top of the glass, huh? It's not your tray and your grinder. It's the glass coming off of the glass you're grinding, throwing onto the other glass, and then you're putting another piece of glass on top of it. And then you know what? You need to be washing it off under the sink before you start cleaning it, because you may be scratching it yourself indirectly and don't even realize it.
When you're finished grinding, set it aside, have a paper towel there, just set it aside by itself, set them all aside. And then when you get that area full, just pick them up, put them in a bin.
And wash them at the sink.
And dump it outside.
Yeah, wash them at the sink.
Dump the glass down the sink.
And if it's black water glass, I'm going to tell you right now, you clean it before you look at it, but most black water glass is scratched already.
Yeah, look at your glass real good. Clean it and look at it.
But most black water glass is scratched on the water side, on the rough side, on the textured side. Now, water glass, too, is one of the only glasses that you cut on the textured side.
It may not even show, Macaulay.
It may not, because laying flat in the light it will, but turn it up and look at it. Just turn it up and look at it.
Yeah. That's a shame, but, you know, keep a bucket of water.
That's Brenda said a new grinder bit. Yeah.
That's a good.
Because you want to make sure you get 120 grit,
that's good.
Not a speed bit. A speed bit will ruin everything.
Some of those new grinder bits are horrible.
Oh gosh, they are. You know, we had a grinder that we were selling, and
we didn't know the
bit was so crappy. So we sent out, I don't know how many new bits to everybody.
Yeah,
but we felt bad. We bought them and sent them out ourselves. We didn't charge them for them. But that bit that came with that grinder was like a
devil. It was a devil.
Well, and then once we found out about it, we had to make it right. We can't just let it go. So anyway, we sent out the people that purchased our stained glass kits. We sent them all new grinder bits
because it came from China, and I don't have anything against China, but they cannot make good grinder bits.
Well, they're using too coarse of diamonds.
Or
I mean, it's real simple. The speed bit is like speed bit is like something that shouldn't even be on the market, because you don't need it. If you cut your glass correctly, you don't need a speed bit.
Why do you need a speed bit?
Right, that's what I mean. Because it just chips the glass like crazy.
Glass up. Yeah. Okay. We didn't. Why would you specifically cut water glass on the wavy side?
Just because that's what Spectrum, who used to make water glass,
that's what
they recommend.
Recommend it. I have no idea.
Cut it on the wavy side.
How can you even tell?
You can.
You can. Oh, yeah, because I know you can. I know you can, because now I can see it in my mind, because it has that, like it has the texture. Like a texture.
Can anybody tell me how they create the pattern for water glass while it's being made?
What do you want us to do? Raise our hand?
No, just chime in if you think you have the answer. I'd be curious.
Water glass.
Water glass.
How's it made?
How's it made?
I wonder.
How do they get the texture in water glass? That's what I want to know. I know how they get it. I want to know if you know how to get it, because it's awesome. Something with the way it cools. Magali, you're really close. Patsy?
Okay, someone told Patsy to cut it on the wavy side. She was having problems.
Awesome, yeah. All right, you ready? That's pretty close, Magali, because it's pretty close. So when you have the glass coming out of the furnace into the rollers, let's say it's turning 15 rotations per minute, real slow. It's just squeezing it out, okay? When it gets on the graphite mat, when the glass comes out of the rollers on the furnace, the graphite mat, instead of being the exact same speed as the top rollers, is a little bit faster. So it stretches the molten glass and creates the water glass pattern. Each one of those ripples is a thick and a thin piece of glass, because it's being stretched while it's molten.
So you're saying that it's flat on both sides?
Well, until it's stretched. Yeah, it's flat on both sides because the rollers, it's flattening it.
Right.
But the belt on the bottom, is moving faster than it's coming out of the top, so it's stretching it.
I didn't know that.
Just ever so slightly.
I didn't know that.
It's all. Oh man. Well, you know, this material that we all work with is fascinating. It's fascinating.
Magali was told that when you have a new grinder bit, you should first use scrap glass on it.
Yeah, well, I do the same thing with a new sanding belt on my belt sander. The wet tabletops. Yes, I do the same thing, because the first
You don't want to put a good piece of glass in there and find
It
out
just
your grinder
eat
bit
it away.
is, yeah,
Right.
not what you.
So you want to knock the
intended.
sharp off of your diamonds just a little bit, but please, y'all, there's no reason to spend the money on a speed bit. I believe the diamond should be either 220 grit or 120 grit. And I don't remember which one it is. I'm pretty sure it's 220. The diamonds on your grinder head should be, I think, 220.
Joey wants to know how do you properly burnish the copper foil onto the glass? Does it have to literally get warm to the touch?
No. But Joey, you want the edge, you want to be able to take it and do the edges all the way around it like that, kind of like you were peeling a potato. And then you want to make sure that you lay it on the table and you do the top edge. And when you get to the edge that's open on this end, you pull it to you until you get it flat, and then you run it back and forth. You should burnish that. If you're burnishing it right, you'll have trouble getting it off the glass. That's the thing. And then if you cut your temperature down in your iron, it's not going to lift up on the sides because now you're burning the glue loose and the flux is getting underneath of it, and boom, guess what? It comes up. Yeah. And I've done it.
And sometimes your glass just isn't clean, and it has nothing to do with how much you burnish it.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have a little spot of something there,
Oil from your hand.
Oil from your hand. The oil on your skin, on your hands, is like your worst enemy. But if you really shouldn't be working with gloves, because then you can't feel what you're doing. So I don't know. It's kind of a catch-22.
Yeah. I think that burnishing it, going through the process, if it still doesn't stick, then it's something to do with
you may not have even ground it correctly.
You may have forgot to grind it.
Or you may have forgot to grind the fourth side on a four-sided piece of glass. Who knows?
Could be all kinds of reasons.
Yeah. There is no
perfect answer.
Perfect
answers.
No. But just don't get frustrated with it. If you do, just, go do something else and come back to it.
Yeah.
Because it's really important, that you enjoy yourself while you're doing it. You should have fun. So
surgical gloves to work, mainly for fluxing and handling solder.
That makes sense. Sure. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. And I'm not going to tell you to do it or not to do it. I don't do it, but when I'm puttying, I put gloves on. So, I think at one time or another, we all wear gloves while we're working on our projects, one time or another.
Yeah. Yeah. If it protects you, wear it. If you can work and be protected, definitely use it.
Yeah, definitely use it. Mask, whatever you need. And when you're soldering,
some people have to wear a mask when they solder because they're that sensitive to the fumes.
Yeah, to the fumes.
But, you do what you have to do.
You do what you have to do to finish your project and move on to the next one.
Okay. So, any more questions? We could just hang out.
We could. Anybody got any more questions? We just got back in off the road.
Yeah.
Did 5 hours in ARTy today. Ba-boom. Saw the grandchildren this weekend. Thumbs up. Had a good time.
Watching, hi kids.
Hey Parker.
Hi Mom.
Hey Mason. Parker and Mason, our two youngest grandchildren, and hey Julie,
Taylor.
our granddaughter. How are you? Taylor, back in Chicago, buddy, working on that PhD.
We went to the upstate of South Carolina.
Yeah. Just if you are watching, Taylor, just remember.
Up around the Greenville-Spartanburg area. That's where we went, up in that area. So, yeah. We had a customer we had to see up there, and then we have family up there, so it all worked out perfect.
And it's just kind of ironic. We have a lot of friends that are actually moving that direction. Just to have all 4 seasons as to where we are right now. We have 3. So And we're still in the third one out there right now.
Amber, same here. Grandkids and 6 hours on the road today. Got home just in time for your Q&A.
So did
So
we.
did we.
And Dixie was so happy to be home, y'all. She ran in the house and just got in her bed and went to sleep. She was just tired.
She was.
She had a big weekend.
Exhausted.
The kids wore her out. Yeah.
And the kids have a Great Dane. So
yeah, her cousin and her Dixie fits under the Great Dane. So
yeah. So anyway, we love our pets.
Yeah, we
and
do.
our kids.
Wouldn't trade anything for it, that's for sure.
South Florida, you would. I'll tell you, it's beautiful in the upstate of South Carolina. Well, it's beautiful in the low country. It's hot here, though. The upstate's a little bit cooler. It's usually about 10 degrees cooler here, and they have 4 seasons. And most of the time in the winter, it snows at least once.
Well, it was 67 degrees this morning at 6 o'clock when we got up, so outside.
Yeah, so that's nice. But here it was probably 80.
77.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably close to 80. So, Magali, you know all about that, all that humidity down there in South Florida.
And we have a lot of flooding in the town that we live in. So,
yeah,
that's one thing that.
Yeah. So, but we love our community, and we've made it our home, and but you still have to take little breaks. If you don't take breaks, then.
Linda, you didn't like Maryland? Is that Maryland? The weather was bad there? Oh, you mean yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, you got 4 seasons there for sure.
Yeah.
And you definitely get winter. And then usually winter hangs out until sometime in March. So, yeah, I know what you mean.
She said it is very hot down there. I know. I'm sorry. It's hot here too.
Yeah, we just, you can tell that when that storm went by, Fred, is that what it was? Was that Fred? When Fred went by, it didn't do it didn't see anybody, but when it went by, you can always tell just every time we get a storm or a near miss, the next day is just so humid you can't hardly breathe. You can cut it with a knife or something, scissors even. Just the air is so thick.
It is. So we got home just in time.
Yeah, we did.
Light it up.
Backed it in. Come on in. Take Dixie home. She would not make it through the live stream. She'd be snoring.
Yeah.
Poor baby, she'd be snoring. That's
well,
our girl.
We've got a lot of people on. So if anybody has any questions, please write them in the comments below, and we'll
shoot them to us.
Be happy to answer them as the best we can. And thanks for joining us.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming on tonight. Welcome to the ARTyRV channel.
Dixie's doing great since she had her. Amber was asking about Dixie. She's doing great since she had her tooth pulled, and she's just really been doing awesome. So we're so happy. We were worried. Thanks for asking. Why is lead-free solder hard to work with?
Because you're trying to melt all tin, and it's really difficult to do it. You have to work with it's lead-free solder is basically used for jewelry. So you're using a screaming hot iron, and the amount of lead that's in things these days with the EPA laws the way they are, it's really hard to get lead poisoning.
Well, the lead is added to the solder to make it more fluid. And when you take the lead to give it a lower melting point.
When you take it away.
And when you take that away, then you have to get
a higher melting point. And you have to teach yourself to use lead-free solder. I can promise you that. You're not just going to jump on it and solder a window.
It's really preferred for jewelry because it's close to your body.
Your ears,
anything that you're going to wear on your body. Otherwise, I don't know what else you would
because
use
you'll
it
have
for.
people say, "Is that lead-free solder?" And you can then, if you teach yourself to use it, you can say, "Yes, it is lead-free solder," but you're going to pay for it because it took a long time to learn how to use it.
Plus, it's more expensive.
Oh,
right?
you better believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So regular solder is probably $20 a pound. I would imagine lead-free is probably 30.
But definitely, if you're doing earrings or necklaces,
Any
or
kind of jewelry
any
work.
kind of jewelry, you'll use lead-free solder.
Yeah, definitely. Or if you make a fruit bowl for somebody's dining room table out of stained glass, use lead-free solder.
Anything, yeah, that's going to come in contact with food or your body. But hanging the sun catcher in the window, you don't need to worry about it because it's solid.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you don't have to worry about it because nobody's going to be eating it or licking it.
I wouldn't eat it.
I wouldn't be doing that.
I wouldn't recommend it.
I don't recommend it.
So, do we have any other questions? And thank you guys. There are a lot of questions this week, and so I was glad we were having this live stream because I couldn't. No way could I get to all of them. Did you have any come to you? We had a couple lamp panels come through. People asking about that. But I think that was more repairs.
Yeah, I think that was just more repairs and quotes and. I'm just trying to think. I'll at the next live stream, I'll get the name of the wood that we use for everybody so that you have the name of the wood so that you can build your frames correctly.
Yeah.
Or some of you may have a wood shop that you can make the wood yourself out of old lumber, but
don't we have a video on that?
We do, building a frame, yeah.
Building a frame, a wood frame video, yeah.
Yeah, we do have a video on that.
Yeah. When are our live streams? Every Monday night at 7 o'clock.
7 p.m. Monday night. We're here. Every
Monday night at 7 o'clock, we're here with a live stream. Most of the time, they're questions and answers. And sometimes we add a video before or after.
Like next week, we hope to add a little bit of painting video of the birds getting worked on and also working panel number 9 and 10 on the oak tree project, I hope.
Yeah. So every Monday at 7 o'clock. And never fails. We're always here.
Try to have a little something new
unless
for everybody.
Unless we're in a tornado or
on a railroad track.
Pasture.
In a cow
Which is happening.
Cow pasture. Yeah, we were in a tornado in the RV and in the middle of a cow pasture. So we didn't have any cows go flying by.
We didn't have a video that week. Brenda says someone has asked her to fix a panel where the cracked glass is in the middle. Do you just remove that piece or remove everything close to it?
Brenda, is it copper, foil, or lead?
Is it copper, foil, or lead, Brenda? So it does make a difference. So if it's
if it's copper foil, what you want to do is the piece that's broken. Oh, I'm gonna give away all my secrets. Oh, that's right, there aren't any. Hang on. So what you want to do, that broken piece is in the center. Copper. Okay, that broken piece is in the center. So you want to score it several times. And then you want to kind of stand it up and break it from behind. And then just fold it right out of there. Click, 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 click. Take your soldering iron, clean the old foil off. Cut your new piece of glass, grind it, foil it. And if any of the pieces beside it, the foil is messed up on, clean those up really well because they're going to have black tape on them. And glue, clean them up well, not just a little, well, and then put your new piece of glass in and put it back together. Boom. One piece of glass in a copper foil window. I won't tell you what to charge, but you should have a minimum for that.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. It should be somewhere around $125.
Yeah.
If it's a friend, $75.
I think you have one back there you have to fix.
I got one back there. We may just do that.
Yeah.
But it's not copper foil, though. It's lead.
Oh, okay.
I can show you how to do that.
Okay.
But yeah, so just, LOL.
You must have said something funny, honey.
I must have
You're
said
always
something funny.
cracking
I'm
jokes.
cracking myself up. That $125 was funny.
Okay. You must have said something about the price that was funny. I don't know.
I don't know. No, I am serious though. That's
Oh, make a video of that. Okay, that's a good idea. Ed, we have a window. We are repairing. Have we done a window on?
I repaired that lamp. It's the same thing. I took it.
There is a video about repairing a lamp on the website, but we need new videos.
Yeah, we need new videos. That's a
Come
good
on,
video.
we need
Thanks,
new
thanks,
video.
Magali. That came from Magali.
I have a project. I have a project that I have to finish by September the 15th. And when I finish that, I'll have more time to spend doing videos like that where people ask,
Right. Well, we have more time, and we will be doing videos. We're getting ready to repair a window that's off of Barbara's right shoulder here. We're getting that repaired in the next week or so, and then we do a lot of lead repair work, y'all. But and I let me tell y'all this that are repairing windows. Cracks in windows don't mess with the structural integrity of the window. Pieces of glass in the window that are missing a piece of that broken glass, those are the pieces that you should replace. Cracks do not fool. I mean, they don't disturb the structural integrity of the window.
Magali asked about these vases, and I meant to put the
This one?
the light on it.
There we go. I got this one right here.
That one. Can they see it?
And this one's done with, this one's, you can see it's flattened on both sides. And it's done with, it's made with stringers.
And then this one is a crackle piece. Did we do these?
That's a crackle piece there. That's a crackle pot.
You can see the texture. I don't know if you can see.
Well, you can see, yeah, and you can see inside it's turquoise. It's really pretty.
And that green one is similar.
Yeah, we just kind of brought some green vases out of the gallery so that put them in with the window here. That's for.
I was supposed to have this light plugged in.
That's all right.
Okay, I'm sorry. Next time I'll have this. We turned the studio around a little bit to give us. Thank you,
Needling West. We appreciate that.
Yeah. We'll have the studio set up a little bit better.
In the next couple weeks, we're working on some projects right now. So
yeah, trying to get.
We're moving our glass cutting area actually outside. Our big glass cutting area, not our stained glass, but for cutting mirrors and tabletops and things. We're moving that under the porch.
Kathleen McCarthy from Myrtle Beach. Anyway.
Hey, well, thanks for chiming in tonight. We appreciate that. We appreciate that.
Magali, yeah, work for glass. Yeah, we'll be showing you guys how we make that stuff later in the season. We'll still be doing our stained glass live every Monday.
But we're going to introduce you to another temperature.
Yeah.
We're just going to introduce you to another temperature.
It's just the next step.
It's the next step. You know, when you're doing flat glass or cold glass, like we're all doing copper foil lead, and some of us are painting and fusing, that's one temperature of glass. That's actually warm glass. And then Barb and I in the glass studio, we make hot glass. And that's awesome.
Kathleen says she's in Stroudsburg, PA.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Stroudsburg.
Yeah. Stroudsburg.
Thanks for tuning in tonight.
Oh, thank you, Kathleen. Thank you. Always sending people to us in Brooklyn.
Thanks. We appreciate that. We appreciate that. Actually, Barbara took me there for my birthday this year. Went to Brook
one
Green.
of our favorite places in the world.
Yeah. And actually, when I took her there for when we started dating a very long time ago.
Yeah. I think it was our Second date.
Second date, that's right.
First date, we went to Atalaya,
To the castle.
to the castle, and then
Second date, we went across the street.
to Brookgreen.
The
Yeah.
Brookgreen. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so anybody have any more questions as to how everybody's doing? Any projects you got coming up?
Thank you,
Oh,
Kathleen.
thank you.
I appreciate that. We appreciate
Yeah,
it.
we appreciate that. Well, really, Barbara can say that she appreciates it because it's really her design and what she wanted to do with it, and that together we implement it as a team. I'm just happy to be part of that team.
Yeah. A big, huge part of that team, right?
That's feeling better, yeah.
Feeling better. Yeah, he's feeling much better.
Shot worked, everybody.
Yeah.
So, and then I'm exercising. So, and thank you all for all the information about different doctors that are online and different ways for me to exercise and everything. So it's really helpful, and I'm getting stronger every day. Oh, who said that? Chicago. I'm getting stronger every day. Thanks to you guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are walking and everything. We love it. Any more questions, anybody?
Any questions, anybody?
We got a lot of people on here. I know somebody's got a question.
Yeah.
I hope.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
You're going to make us have to leave.
Just remember,
if you don't come up with a question. Yes, keep your health up. You have so much more to give. Oh, thank you, Kathleen.
Thank you, Kathleen.
We're trying to stay healthy so we can live a long, healthy life.
Yeah, we are.
We hope to be here on YouTube for a long time.
Well, we will be even after we're gone.
Yeah, we will.
All right.
Okay.
I guess that's a sign off.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Everybody, go get your dinner fixed up. And everybody enjoy your Monday night. Happy cutting this week on new projects. Magali, I'll catch up with you. Send you a message tomorrow when I find out if the ripple in that 318 is available. But now at least you have the part number.
Yeah, she said. Yeah.
Yeah.
She said.
Good night, Joey. I'm glad you're well, my friend. Seriously. Hey.
Oh. Kathleen's got a daughter, started glass blowing in Maryland.
Oh, cool.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
And thank you guys for coming. And come back Monday nights at 7:00.
Yeah, and check out our website. Go to the shopping page and just look at the Christmas ornaments.
Order a hat if you feel like it.
Order a hat if you feel like it. That's just one way to support us because, I don't know that. Anyway, we're happy to be here with you. We're happy to be here, period.
Yeah.
Thank you all again. Please, everybody, stay safe. It's Ed and Barb.
Good night, y'all. Thank you.